Hello and welcome back to Exercise 12, Chapter 4, A Shopping Cart. In this video, we will look at the main component x12_cart.svelte and one or two more depending on the time. I like to keep these videos to 5 minutes so you don't fall asleep. The main component is located in Data Chapter 4, while the rest of the components are in Data Chapter 4 cart. The data file, groceries.json, is in static data folder. OK, open x12_cart.svelte. We import our well-used fetch data as we will be loading the products file. We import all the other components. We import the signal functions that we need for flow and products. We set state for whether products are loaded or not, and if you look at the dollar effect you see we load the data and then populate the product signal using setProducts. Next, the cart flow signals are reset by calling the resetCartFlow signal function. Note an import point on signals here. Although the signal file first initializes the cart flow when you exit this shopping cart component, but not the entire app and come back to this component, the signals file is not reloaded or reinitialized as you might expect it to be. That is why you must reset the signal here by calling the resetCartFlow function. Then, because we want to see the first page, we update the flow signal to set showCapProd as true. We will see what this does shortly. Okay, that's the script. In the markup we display a title and then we have 3 conditional rendering blocks. The first uses the showCapProd property of the cart flow signal. So that's why we set this to true, as we want to display the first page with the category selection and products. We add the && is products loaded, as we want to make sure that the products are loaded also before we display the category and products. If those two conditions are true, then we call the two components for the category and product display. The next conditional format checks if the showCart summary property of the cart flow object is true, and if it is, we display the shopping cart. And the last conditional rendering for the checkout only renders if showCheckout is true. Note that for each of these we are using the latest updated value of the cart flow object by using the getCartFlow function. Note also that this main component is fairly simple and just manages or organizes the component's flow and loads data. Okay, that's the main component, and let's work through the other components in the order shown here. Next, open CategorySelection.svelte, which should be in your Chapter 4 cart folder. Here, we import signals and set state. We want a category list for the drop-down, so use object.keys to get that and call getProducts to ensure we have the latest signal value. Next, we update the selected category signal with the first 0 category in the data. And that's the script. In the markup we display the category drop-down, and on selection of a category we call the setSelectedCategory signal function, which simply updates the category signal with the category selected. By doing this we do not have to pass state around using props or context or callback functions, but simply update signals and import those where needed. Okay, can I squeeze another component into this video? Yes, I think we can cover ProductList.svelte here. Open ProductList.svelte. We import the signals and set state. Now we use $effect to update filter products whenever the category changes, and we get the value of the category signal using the getter so it's always current. Now, you might have noticed that I have some $inspect floating around, commented out. Rather than use console.logs, which, if forgotten, end up in production code, $inspect does pretty much the same thing but is ignored in production, so if you forget it's not an issue. Feel free to remove or uncomment to see the results in the console. In the markup, we display a title for the products of the category selected and we list the products with a cart icon. A couple of things to note here. 1. Using index in the each loop for the odd-even class is not strictly necessary. We could use producted, but if the data was not numerically ordered, then that could produce undesirable effects. So safer to use index. It's just being used for the styling. 2. Next to the product name we have the count of the product, X, where we call that signal function getCartItemQuantity with the product ID, which returns the quantity. Just a visual aid to go with the click. When the cart item is clicked, this calls the add to cart signal function, which adds to cart and local storage. Next, we have the Go to Cart button, which checks you have items in the cart and if you do, rather than call the shopping cart component. We are using the cart flow to control, so we update show cart summary to true and also show cart prod to false, as we don't want to see the category or products page anymore, only the shopping cart, show cart summary, true. And this is controlled in the main component, so let's open that up. Open x12_cart.svelte and scroll down to the conditional formats. You will see that having set show cart prod to false, we will no longer be able to render the CategorySelection and ProductList components, and having set show cart summary to true, this will then allow the shopping cart component to be rendered. Okay, back to ProductList.svelte. The final item in the markup is the display of the item selected count, which simply uses the length of the cart items array. That gives the count of unique items in the cart. Okay, and that's ProductList.svelte, and I think that's enough to digest in one video. In the next video, we will look at the 2 remaining components. See you there.